What if I told you that the best three-point shooter in the NBA is actually not Steph Curry, and it's actually Jonas Valanciunas? Also, the fastest player in the NBA is actually not Westbrook, but it's De'Aaron Fox. The best defender has to be Kawhi Leonard, right? Psych! He's actually not. I'm sure that you know by now where this is going. Most of the perceptions you had about the best NBA players in the NBA are false. And in this video, I will be showing you guys who is actually the best NBA player in each respective category. I'm sure that after hearing my first sentence about why Steph Curry is not the best NBA shooter, and the fact that it's actually Jonas, everyone is probably flabbergasted. You probably paused the video and booted up 2K and looked up the 2K rating, and it has Steph as a 99 overall 3-point rating, but there's more than one way to look at this. If you look at this as total threes made this year, yes, Curry sits at the top of the list. Heck, even if you look at the type of difficulty levels in each of the threes that he takes and makes, he's probably up there as well. But if you look at one key stat, 3-point percentage, he's not even the best shooter in his own family. Seth is. But in reality, we should be looking at all the stats and not just one singular one. If you look at it from that perspective, then Steph is definitely sitting on the throne when it comes to 3-point shooting. But when you look at speed, that's not the case. There's literally one stat that can define how fast a certain player is. And many people have the wrong perception on who the fastest player in the NBA actually is. Many people will say it's Russell Westbrook. Heck, some won't even say it's John Morant. But the times of Westbrook being the fastest player in the NBA are long gone now. There's a new fastest guy in the NBA, and it's De'Aaron Fox. Slowest. Since we're on the subject of speed, why not discuss who the slowest is? And I just want to give a quick shout out to this guy for coming back into the NBA and making my job a lot easier. Or else, it was also honestly a toss-up. Is it Boban Marjanovic? No, but it probably would have been if this man did not come back, as I had said. Is it Zion's fat ass? Nope. It's the one and only DeMarcus Boogie Cousins. There is no way this man cannot be the slowest individual in the NBA right now. When he's running up and down the NBA basketball course, it looks like he's waddling more than running. So I think he takes this one. Rebounding. The best rebounder in the NBA is Rudy Gobert. Right? I mean, he averages the most rebounds per game at 14.5. He's always been a force inside. No! Actually, he is not the best rebounder in the NBA. As we spoke about this earlier, it's not always one stat that paints the entire picture. We gotta take a look at the entire picture as far as looking at some other stats. You know, the peripheral stats. Rudy Gobert gets the highest rebound chances per game at 23.9. And he averages 14.5. Also, he has 5.1 contested rebounds per game. What if I told you there's someone in the NBA who gets more contested rebounds per game than Rudy Gobert, and also he gets 2.8 less rebound chances per game than Rudy Gobert does, yet he only averages 0.7 less. Oh wait, there's more. He has a higher NBA 2K22 rating for rebounding. It's your goddamn MVP, Nikola Jokic. Let's keep the same theme going with this, and look at some peripheral stats before deciding who the best in each NBA category is. Let's keep it on the big men with who the best blocker in the NBA is. The leader in blocks per game is Miles Turner. The guy who plays for the Pacers? Yeah, him. For this category, you may have thought it was Rudy Gobert. Again, wrong answer. Miles Turner averages more blocks than he does. And he has a high rating on NBA 2K for blocks as well. Maybe it's Anthony Davis, feared in the NBA for his blocking prowess. Wrong. This one is simple as it's going to get. Miles Turner leads the NBA in blocks per game and has the highest block rating at 97. Let's keep it defensive for now with steals. Another easy one, right? Chris Paul. Nope. Okay. It has to be Jimmy Butler. Or heck, even Kawhi Leonard with those huge hands of his. Wrong. Who's the best stealer in the NBA? The mother effing GOAT, Alex Caruso. He leads the league with 2.2 steals per game. However, his steals stats on NBA 2K haven't been updated just yet because white people don't get credit for stealing. So they need to update that ASAP and give him the credit he deserves. Should we finally sum this one up and get past the defensive leaders in the NBA? Who's the best defender in the NBA? It has been a throne held by the player for the inferior LA team, Kawhi Leonard, for many, many years. But as age has taken a toll and new NBA players have entered their primes, there's a new leader in this category. I created so many different formulas to try to solve this age-old question, scoured the internet as well as look at many advanced stats to finally settle this debate. And I finally had the answer. Or so I thought. But then I saw that this sort of route had Blake Griffin as a number 2 defender in the NBA. There's no way anyone can convince me that Blake Griffin is a good defender. So, back to work I went. And finally, Giannis Antetokounmpo. Yeah, however you say his last name. Even though Rudy has won so many Defensive Player Awards in the previous years, we all know when it comes down to it, guarding any position in the NBA, the Greek Freak is probably your best bet. Mid-range. Now, on to the more interesting parts. Offense. We already discussed three-point shooting, and many of you guys are probably mad at my decision to start off with the Jonas Valanciunas angle. But, same goes for mid-range. We must look at all angles before coming up with a decision. Mid-range is a whole different animal, because you're probably shooting a lot of different types of fadeaways, contested shots, drifters, etc. So you cannot blindly just look at the mid-range shot percentage, because, again, not all mid-range shots are the same. When we took a look at the percentage and 2K's rating, KD is the best mid-range shooter in the NBA. And to be honest, I truly don't even want to argue with that, because it's true. But, when we look at the difficulty of shots, the fadeaways, contested shots, etc., I got DeMar DeRozan. I'm sorry. But KD has the advantage of being a 7-footer, raising up and getting easy mid-range shots up. Plus, look who he's been surrounded with. First, the Golden State Warriors squad, so he just gets more spacing. And now the Nets. DeMar has been killing it in the mid-range for years. First being the focal point on offense with the Spurs and now with Chicago. Give me DeRozan every time. Free throws. On free throws. Best free throw shooter in the NBA? Steph Curry. That's all I have to say. Next. There are so many lethal passers in the NBA, the list goes on. In fact, there's even a stat that many reference. Assists. If we look at assists, we got Chris Paul leading the league. So that should be easy. Nope. Come on by now. You know we're not keeping it as simple as that. Or what's the point of this video? Let's take a deeper dive, as not all assists are the same. CP3 passing to open guys, getting easy alley-oops to Ayton, doesn't necessarily mean he's the best passer in the NBA. Not to discredit the guy. Also, he is the main guy on the team. He always has the ball in his hand and he's always grabbing it. So his assists should be high naturally. But there's another guy, a bench guy. In fact, it's his close friend, who the only reason he's in the NBA is solely because of his passing ability. Rajon Rondo. Yes, I didn't forget about you, boss. In my eyes, the best passer the NBA has today. Let us look at turnovers. Yeah, the thing opposite of passing, and many people who have lead the league in assists also have a high number of turnovers, which is why I had Rondo as the best passer, because he limits his turnovers. But who's the best at turnovers? What am I going for with this ranking? Basically, it's who's actually the worst or best. What the fuck? That's confusing. I mean, who gets the most turnovers in the league? Who is the worst at protecting the ball? Basically, you don't want to win this award. With that being said, all stats point to James Harden. But should he actually be given this award? I mean, the man's always being harassed, getting banged every single chance he gets the ball, and he shoulders so much responsibility for the Nets. With that being said, he won't be winning this award. This one goes to Russell Westbrook. But you said someone who shoulders so much responsibility shouldn't be given this award. Come on. I get Westbrook does a lot with the ball. He shoulders responsibility, focal point on offense. But there's no way you can tell me that this man isn't a turnover machine. He will legit lead the league in quadruple doubles if turnovers were counted. Who's the smartest player in the NBA? You might even see this man become a coach in the league if he wanted to. And player plays chess whilst others are playing checkers. He always finds a way to not only outsmart his opponents, but the opposing coaches as well. LeBron James. Crazy to think he finally wins one of these so late into the video. But the most athletic guy. Once upon a time, this was easily LeBron's award. But now the man's getting old, right? And we want to look at who has the best combination of speed, strength, vertical, quickness, height, all in one. Giannis Antetokounmpo. He literally takes 2 steps and he's already covered the entirety of the court. He's so fast, long, strong, and jumps high. I think this one's clear. On to dunking. How should we define this award? Best dunks? Who plain out gets the most dunks per game? Etc. In my eyes, it should be who the best dunker is. Who would you put your money on if you had to have one guy win you the dunk contest? There's a plethora of names to choose from. Zach LaVine, Big Boy Zion, John Morant, Aaron Gordon, etc. With this one, it's very opinionated, and let me know in the comments who you guys have, but my money's on Zach LaVine. Should we go on to the next one? Who is the best NBA player at handling balls? Pause. Probably shouldn't have worded it like that, but who got the best handles in the NBA? Who's going to break you? who has the best moves in the NBA? Who do you see on TV that just opens your mouth? Pause again. When you watch him, because of his dribbling ability, it has to be Kyrie Irving. Look what this man has been able to do. It's not even a discussion for this one. Let's go on to the next one. Who is the best scorer in the NBA? Not the best offensive player, but best at scoring buckets. KD leads the league in points per game. And if you look at every other stat that involves scoring, he's pretty much up there. I mean, this man's a 7-footer with guard ability, and he's a straight sniper. No one in the league can put up a 40 bomb at will as much as Kevin Durant can. You know who he is. He is Kevin Durant. Now, best offensive player. This is a guy who's the best at the most offensive categories we named. Shooting, dribbling, scoring, etc. There are so many different people you can go with, but in my eyes, there's one clear guy. This man does more than score the ball or pass to get his teammates open shots. His sole presence on the court is enough to have him at the top of this list because of the amount of gravity he has. When this man steps on the court, literally every defender just focuses and gravitates towards him. So him lazily just standing around has such a significant impact on the game. It gets his teammates easy buckets. Not to forget, this man can drop 50 in any given game. He's a bona fide bucket. His name is Steph Curry. On to some superlatives, if you will, or players that lead in other categories other than skill. Let's start off by the tallest player in the league. The first name that comes to most people's mind is Taco Fall, and you're absolutely right about that. Who's the shortest guy in the NBA? Now, if you look at what they have these guys listed as, Chris Clemens is 5'9", but I just don't buy it. So I took it upon myself to see who the shortest guy is in the NBA. So what I did is I got JJ Barea and I got Chris Clemens and I put them next to each other. And upon further review, the shortest player in the NBA is Isaiah Thomas. There's no fat shaming allowed here. But who weighs the most in the NBA? Boban weighs 290 pounds, but he is a 7-footer, so that honestly makes sense. What's Zion's excuse? He's 285 pounds and he's only 6'6". The last category, who has the most anger issues? How will we go about determining that? Well, there's a few ways. We can look at technical fouls, ejections, as well as disqualifications. And while looking through all these stats, there's a few names at the top of each of these categories. However, it's been a short NBA season, so I don't think it's necessarily right to look at just a few months worth of data to determine if a guy has anger issues or not. So I looked at previous seasons, and one name is on top of these categories quite a bit. And if you've watched the NBA and watched him play, you probably would have guessed this guy too. His name is Draymond Russell Westbrook. Yup. Many might have guessed Green, but Westbrook is actually the guy who deals with the most anger issues. From his yelling at his teammates, refs, run-ins with the crowd, this one goes to Brody. Thanks everyone for watching. Don't forget to hit the like and sub button if you want more. Peace.
And one. That, my friends, is a heady veteran play by Westbrook.
This kind of interesting reaction by the fan there as Russell Westbrook makes an acrobatic move.
For a guy like that to go right to the locker room, he's walking off